All right, hello. First of all, let me apologize for any of the trouble that we're having with Mudbox. Um, I'm sorry that the licensing is giving us issues, but wanted to put together a little quick guide, kind of a quick start to utilizing ZBrush. So I kind of mentioned this in maybe some of the videos, but in different areas. Um, I put an email into help desk, so hopefully they'll get Mudbox working. But in the meantime, or just in general, I wanted to kind of showcase ZBrush and talk a little bit about it, and kind of, like I said, a quick start and kind of jump in. I do also want to mention there's another program on here called Sculptress, which can be a lot of fun and is kind of a simpler version of a sculpting tool to something like ZBrush, which is a little bit more full feature. The biggest problem I have with ZBrush in our virtual lab is the virtual lab. The pressure sensitivity, if you're using a tablet, isn't ideal, so it's not the best. So I'm gonna grab my tablet here. Even having a busted pressure sensitivity still kind of tends to be a little bit more user friendly than not having one at all. So if you do have access to a tablet like this kind of thing, I would recommend it. If not, you absolutely can use the mouse, and I have used the mouse a lot in these programs myself, so it's okay too. But it'll make a big difference, kind of user-friendly wise. So the first thing you're gonna notice when you open up ZBrush is it's going to open up the light box here, which is going to show you all the different kind of sample projects that you can use to work off of. You're welcome to open up any of these and start with them. Or if you've created something in 3ds Max, you just need to export whatever you create in 3ds Max as a OBJ file. The OBJ file is the most compatible file type, and it's the one you would use in Mudbox as well. So if you have something you want to bring over, you can do it that way, or you can start with any of these. So either works. I'm just going to grab one of these and double click on it, and here we go. Now, this is one of those default files. You can start sculpting and working in it right away. It looks like symmetry is already turned on in this file, which is nice. If it's not, it's just hitting X on the keyboard. You can see now it's turned off. If I hit X, now it's turned back on. You really want to try to always use symmetry when you're working until you get to the end. So obviously at the very end, if you're trying to make something that's not symmetrical, then you would turn it off. Sorry, I'm jumping around a bit because I'm getting distracted and want to play. So I'm just using the standard brush over here. All your brushes are here. So if I will pick, for example, like the one I use probably the most is the move brush. This one allows you to move the polygons around. I'm just using the mouse. I don't even have the tablet right now. So you can see, you can make a lot of really fun adjustments to the model without sculpting in something new. And I find I use the move brush probably more than most of the other tools. The other tool I'm using a lot is the smooth tool. You can see I'm smoothing it out here. This one you'll use a lot while you're modeling to kind of fix issues. So you can see I got some lumps in there. You just hold down the shift tool to switch to the smooth tool. So again, it's not active by default. So you just hit shift and you can switch between the two. So you can see here I'm kind of adding some I don't know, this character's really angry for some reason, and a nice furrowed brow. And then I'll smooth it back out if I'm getting too much of a shape. Again, some of this is just kind of me playing and deciding what I want. All right, so you can see again, here I kind of am playing around. You'll probably notice that it's very similar to Mudbox. Again, if you've been looking through the videos and different things, I'm able to grab this character, kind of push and pull, and have all the fun stuff with him. I don't know, it's looking like more like a skeleton looking figure as we go through. Honestly, I like the sculpting tools probably much better in Mudbox versus ZBrush. Let's go ahead and do a brand new file here so we can kind of see this in action if you're starting it up for the first time and you haven't really, if you're not working off of one of those default models. So again, it'll often have this open. I'll just click the light box to close it. Now here, the last model I used is already loaded, but here, let's just close it out completely. To make this even easier and a little more like similar to probably what your first use case will be. Let's go ahead and open it up again. Now, the trickiest thing about ZBrush is it was originally designed as a 2D tool. So in order to work in 3D mode, you have to enable the edit button. So let me close this out again. Here it is with nothing loaded. And let's say I want to import a model. So this is something I've made on my own. Like again, I've uploaded a lot of models on here. I don't know what's going to be good, but here, I don't know. Yeah, here we go. Male base. There we go. All right, so this is a model I made in a program called Mixamo Fuse. It's free on Steam. It allows you to create characters and base meshes. So that's what I've done here. I'm going to hit quads and triangles, I think, for this one. And I'm going to click and drag to add it to my scene. Now, if I let go, the first thing I need to do is come up here and click edit to be able to access this 3D model, right? If I don't, then I'll actually start painting with more of these. So you can see here, this is not what I want. That's because this program was originally made as a 2D file, so it's creating a 2D image with these models in it. That is clearly not right. So I'm going to go up to a document and do new document. Don't save that. And start over. So I'm going to click and drag and create one of them. And then I'm going to immediately come to edit. Now I'm in 3D mode. So now I can actually edit the model. And I'm just clicking here off the model. I can click and move it around. If I hold down shift, it can snap to the different views, which makes it a little bit easier. And over here on the side, I have my move, my zoom, and my tools, my frame, if I want to snap it all in the frame. And I'm just going to like zoom in here on the face because it's kind of the more fun place to play around and start with. So again, here is my model. Now this model I created in Mixamo Fuse. I didn't make it by hand or nothing. I did it in there. And here the same standard tool I had over before. You can see this model is a lot smaller than the other one, so I'll go a lot smaller to make it. Also, X is not turned on by default. So if I want to edit this guy, I'm going to need to hit X to turn on symmetry. So I know that's a lot to take in, right? Go slow. The big thing is when you import your model into a brand new document, you'll need to click edit mode right away. Otherwise, it'll start drawing with that model like a 2D tool. The other thing that's weird about ZBrush is it saves the models over here as tools and the document as the canvas you're working in. So this is my document, which is my picture of my guy. My tool is my actual model. So if I make adjustments, again, I don't know why I keep giving everybody big eyebrows today, but let's say I make him have big old eyebrows, looks like Martian Manhunter, and maybe I'll go to move, and we'll go ahead and give him some fun, pointy kind of ears. You know, change him up a little bit. So let's say I made those changes and I like it. Again, maybe I'll fix this part back. That's maybe in picky, I get like that, sorry. All right, so I'm happy with how that looks. Let's say it's finished. Again, it's a little bit funky. This model may not be perfectly symmetrical or perfectly centered. It looks like my center point's a little bit off on this model, which ain't ideal. But let's say we're happy with what I got here. I would want to go up here and either export the model like I did from 3ds Max as an OBJ file, or I can go save as a ZTL, which is the actual ZBrush file. This is my ZBrush file that I'm editing. Okay, so keep that in mind. Again, the ZTL file is the Z tool. That's the 3D model. The document is the canvas. It's like the thing you're working in. I don't know why it's set up like that. Well, I do know why. It's set up like that because it originally was a 2D image creation tool, kind of like Photoshop. And so it's kind of set up like Photoshop and Smart Filters. So again, ZTL is what I'm going to want though. So if I save this as a ZTL, I know that if I open up Photoshop, let's say it's a brand new document here. I'm not going to save that document. I can go to Load Tool and pick the Stone Giant Male tool, and here is my tool. Again, I still got to shift click. I still got to hit edit to make it work, but there it is. So you can see I can hit Load Tool, and I've got a whole bunch of this junk saved on my desktop that I've been working with. So maybe if I got like this one, I'm not even sure what this one is. Been too long. Oh, here we go. And here's a model I have, right? So here's one of the models I've worked on. Inside, I can bring it in. Again, as a ZTL file. And it's, you know, I'm ready to edit it, change it, modify it, whatever I want. obviously that looks terrible, but you get the idea. Again, saving them out as a ZTL. Yeah, here's one I've done a whole bunch of work in. You know, it's been a hot minute, but here's my finished head from back from September. So again, here's the model I made all inside of ZBrush. Now, you can also separate your model out as different subtools. So you can see this scarf is actually a different subtool from the head here. And at one point, if I'm honest, the eyeballs were a separate tool. I think I've combined them in this version of the model, but they were different tools as well. And so you can see this was just a head I brought in, and I created all these fun details on this handsome feller. And he started as just that head that you had seen a minute ago. But now I've went through and painted all the fun stuff inside of ZBrush. If I'm honest, most of this was done with a mouse, not with a tablet, because I'm too lazy to plug it in. But here, if I wanted to continue working on it again, I can push and pull, like get all the lumps in the back here were just done that way, and kind of masking it out. And I spent a lot of time working on this thing, but again, you can see here it is made all in here. This one actually was even probably done with poly paint. So you can see I've colorized it. It's a high polygon model inside this program. So colorize is where you can actually paint right on it. Now, I don't want this video to be all the tools. That can take a long time. It's already way too long at like 12 minutes. But I wanted to kind of give you the basics of how you can just upload a model and start working in it right away to get you started. Sorry, I'm long-winded. But hopefully that helps kind of help you hit the ground running and start playing in here. And of course, if you have questions, let me know. But hopefully you find this video helpful.